Deemed rehabilitated and real entertaining. This is the Carl Jackson Podcast.
All right, welcome to this Election Day edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast. I hope that you voted or that you are getting out to vote today. Actually, after this podcast wraps up, I'm going to go and I'm going to do my civic duty as an American citizen, and I'm going to go practice democracy. I'm going to go fill out my ballot. That is the democratic process, actually, filling out the ballot, and I'm looking forward to doing it. I think by the way, you are listening to the Carl Jackson Show podcast. Please subscribe to the podcast wherever podcasts are found: Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, you name it, please. Rumble, YouTube, really love to see you there. Also, thecarljacksonshow.com is one place you can go to find it as well. And SalemPodcastNetwork.com, SalemPodcastNetwork.com. Find me on social media, The Carl Jackson Show. Please support our sponsors at MyPillow, Mike Lindell at MyPillow. You can go to MyPillow.com. Take advantage of the latest deals at MyPillow.com. Use the promo code Carl. Just click on the radio listener square. And again, type in CARL or give them a call, 1-800-858-0263, 1-800-858-0263. Okay, let's get into listen, the Democrats were already going to lose the midterms here. There's no doubt in my mind that the Republicans are going to take over the House. You heard Nancy Pelosi. I'm not sure if you guys heard this in an interview that she was in with CNN's Anderson Cooper. Basically, she asserted that the attack on her husband, Paul Pelosi, it just made her look at life differently, if you will. I'm paraphrasing. And then she started talking about retirement. Listen, she knows that she's going to lose the House. She knows with these left-wing radicals that have infiltrated the Democrat Party, she has no chance, especially with her age and with the lefties that have infiltrated the party, the communists, in my opinion. She has no chance of ever becoming speaker again. You don't want to run for office anymore at that point, right? You don't want a promotion when you've been the second person in line to the presidency. But I'm looking at what's happening, what's about to happen. I think that Republicans will win the Senate, although that is incumbent upon all of you getting out and voting today. Don't think that your vote doesn't count. Don't take any vote for granted. The Heritage Foundation, I didn't go through the column, but they had outlined literally there were 400 different elections in which a single vote it made a huge difference, or I shouldn't say a single vote, but in some cases a single vote or a very small a portion of votes. You go to some of these local races, like right here in the city of Orlando. Last week, I interviewed the Democrat whistleblower, Cynthia Harris, who lost her after winning her race, ended up losing it basically in a recount, if you will, by 6 votes. There was some cheating going on, to be honest, but nonetheless, your vote does count. You don't have to worry about that. I mean, Orlando is gone. It's completely left wing. It's like they're trying to be the Seattle in Florida. It's the weirdest thing. Nonetheless, that's what those small numbers do matter. All right, your vote does matter. It does make a difference. Here's where I think Joe Biden solidified today's losses for the Democrat Party. I want to play for you this video. This is Joe Biden basically giving up the ghost, admitting that there is no drilling. I mean, this guy has contradicted himself on this issue so many times in order to placate the voters at any given, on any given day. It's absolutely amazing, but he can never run from this video. I encourage every Republican running for office, not this year, obviously in 2024, to make sure you keep this video on file, because gas prices are going to go up. You want to make sure that people understand. And if you're trying to force this guy to drill, or, Lord willing, in the next couple of years to ease gas prices for us, you want to play this video to make sure that this guy can't lie and get away with this. So we're going to go ahead and play the video now, and I'm going to offer you my takeaways on that video. Gabe, go ahead and roll the video. This is Biden admitting that there's going to be no more drilling.
Like I said, I look out at our country and I see how the rest of the world looks at us. They still look at us as that shining hope. They really do look to the United States. We've got to demonstrate who we are. I see a great nation because we're a great people. We just have to remember who we are. We're the United States of America. And there's nothing beyond our capacity if we work together. So vote. Get out the vote now. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No more drilling. There is no more drilling. I haven't formed any new drilling. No, that was before I was president. We're trying to work on that, get that done. Thank you.
All right. We'll cut it there. All right. So the guy gave up the ghost. Can you imagine? This was just a couple of days ago. So you're heading into a midterm where likely the Democrat Party is going to get slaughtered in their races. Lord willing, please. Thank you, Jesus. All right. So likely the Democrat Party is going to get slaughtered. And here you have this guy giving up the ghost when it comes to drilling. What are people suffering with? These people are completely out of touch. Biden is delusional. We know he's not completely there, but so is the left. These people have learned to ignore their voters because all they do is they talk amongst each other. They come up with these grandiose ideas. Oh, the Great Reset. Yeah, let's totally remake America. Let's totally go globalist. Let's destroy the industries that have made America great. Let's do it, and we'll remain rich, and we'll remain the elites, and we'll make all the decisions for the peons. This guy just gave up the ghost. So those of you that are suffering because you have a higher grocery bill now, you get less food, although you pay more money. Gas prices have spiked. We went from an average of $2.31 on average gas prices in the United States of America. When Biden took over, we had a peak at $5 per gallon or thereabouts this summer. And then as Biden continued to release oil from our strategic petroleum reserve, which is supposed to be in emergency cases only, shutting down new drilling is not an emergency. It's a bad decision by the Democrat Party, but this is essentially what they want to do. And now I think we're at about $3.80 on average a gallon across the country. But in places like California and Hawaii, I mean, you're looking at gas prices still $6-7 a gallon. It's absolutely insane. But this guy can no longer lie and tell people 1 week, hey, I'm for drilling. Hey, the oil companies can do this. They have all of these. They have 9,000 leases available out there to, he just gave up the ghost. No more drilling. What oil company, what gas company is going to be incentivized to do any type of drilling, especially on federal lands, when you have a federal government that is hostile towards them, a federal government that says, here, there's not going to be any new drilling. You can deal with the areas that you've already dug. But what if those areas aren't viable? What if there isn't any oil there? Or what if they simply aren't worth drilling, considering the cost that has to go into drilling for fossil fuels? All right. So he has just given up the ghost. He can no longer lie about this. Again, the Republican Party needs to keep this video on file. Again, his quote was, no more drilling. No more drilling. There's no more drilling. I haven't formed any new drilling. Now, just days before, he got in a spat with Senator Joe Manchin, which Senator Joe Manchin has lost all credibility. He is officially the Tim Ryan of West Virginia. But he got in a spat when Biden said, listen, he was going to shut down coal plants. Guys, do you understand? Products made in petroleum. I'm just going to click on this. I don't know if people really understand how many products in everyday life are made with petroleum, like literally hundreds of them. If you're wearing clothes, your products are made with petroleum. If you brush your teeth, if you wash your hair, you've got products that are made with petroleum. You wear shoes, you got products that are made with petroleum. Solvents, upholstery, bicycle tires, dresses, you name it. A motorcycle helmets, curtains, vitamin capsules, dashboards, putty, percolators, skis, tool racks, diesel fuel. That's going to be, listen, we have a severe shortage when it comes to diesel fuel. What's going to happen when all of these large machines that we need to deliver food to the grocery stores, to deliver products, are out of diesel fuel. Guys, we are coming into a crisis type scenario, and this guy just let it out the bag. Now, going back to Senator Joe Manchin, he has no credibility. Again, I'm glad that he's barking at Biden, how insane it is to shut down coal plants. But you screwed up, Senator Joe Manchin, when you caved on the mini Green New Deal project. So you totally sold out. Americans. And guys, I'm telling you, fossil fuels, we cannot get away from them. It is a fallacy. It is a lie. It's unreasonable to think that you can transfer to EVs, which require a lot of mining, a lot of destruction of the earth in order to mine the minerals needed for EVs that China is mining, by the way. And then we have to ship those batteries over on diesel fuel ships. It makes no sense, guys. Listen, let's not let these people get away with playing us for fools. But one of the funny things is that Biden gave up the ghost a couple of days before the election. Can you imagine what Democrats were saying? Can you imagine Democrats watching that audio, watching that video? They were like, oh my God, I was close in my race and he just lost it. Here's what the phony Joe Manchin said. President Biden's comments are not only outrageous and divorced from reality, they ignore the severe economic pain the American people are feeling because of rising energy costs. Comments like these are the reason the American people are losing trust in President Biden and instead believes he does not understand the need to have an all-in energy policy that would keep our nation totally energy independent and secure. Apparently, you forgot that too, Senator Joe Manchin, when you signed on to the little Green New Deal. But all in all, this is a bad thing for the Democrat Party. I guarantee you they watched this video and they were like, oh my God, he just killed my race. Consider Fetterman, who's trying to who's not being as clear as to whether or not he supports fracking, where you have Dr. Oz that is straight up like, listen, this election for me in Pennsylvania is about less crime and more energy, because energy fuels the world. The reason, in part, why we have these inflationary numbers is fuel. It's fuel. I mean, it really is as simple as that. You can't get away from it. Food preservatives, antihistamines, deodorant, pantyhose, rubbing alcohol, you name, nail polish, ladies, golf bags. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. There are so many things that we deal with, refrigerators on the daily that require petroleum. There's no way, fossil fuels, there's no way that you can get away from it. Here's another piece of news that I want to bring to you. All of a sudden, Politico is dabbling in election denialism, if you will. Politico, the left-wing rag. All right, so all of a sudden, they're concerned about election denying. Now, keep in mind that we're the election deniers because no one with a modicum of common sense. I love the way Carrie Lake said it. If you believe that Joe Biden got 81 million votes in 2020, then you're the conspiracy theorist. All right. That was Carrie Lake. I'm paraphrasing, I think, but that's pretty much on the money, what she said. So now all of a sudden, Politico is wondering if voting machines can be trusted. If voter machines can be trusted. So this is what Politico is wondering now that they know the Democrat Party is about to get a butt kicking. Make sure you go out and vote today to bring that butt kicking into fruition. All right. So Politico is now wondering about these election machines, voting machines. Oh, and by the way, some good news for you. Catherine Engelbrecht and Greg Phillips of True the Vote have been ordered released from jail by a federal judge. So thank God for that. After they've been sitting in there for not giving up one of their sources, that an FBI source that informed them about some voting shenanigans, right? It's absolutely insane. They were held as political prisoners. Thank God there's some decent people that are on the bench. So apparently, since Democrats are likely to lose today's elections big time, Lord willing, then now questioning elections is okay to do. It's absolutely sad, but apparently claiming, fascism and a threat to democracy, all of that stuff goes out the window when Democrats believe that they're going to lose. So you and I, we're the fascists. We're the threat to democracy if we question 2020, but they're not a threat to democracy when they're starting to pre-question, their pre-election deniers question the 2022 results because they know they're going to get their butts kicked. Listen, guys, here's the truth. It's a free country. I don't care if the left questions the elections, but once there's evidence to prove otherwise, and I think, listen, we have to run up the score today so that they can't question anything, so that they understand that there's a mandate in the House and in the Senate. Republicans better come through. I know that they don't have the veto power, obviously, with Biden in the White House, but they better be pushing some bills. They better be creating narrative that can help them sustain through the 2024 elections, because all we're trying to do right now is stop the bleeding. We can't progress much of anything, just to be honest, but we've got to stop the bleeding so times don't get worse. Fuel prices are going to get worse. I got to tell you that. Fuel prices are going to get worse. Biden has finished tapping out the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. So he's going to try to blame Republicans, but thank God Republicans have that video. If they have any common sense, they will play it over and over and over again anytime that he lies about not being the reason why gas prices have gone up. Here's a tweet from Politico on Monday, and I quote, "The 2020 presidential election was rife with allegations of voting machine hacks that were later debunked. There are real risks that hackers could tunnel into voting equipment and other election infrastructure to try to undermine Tuesday's vote." Pre-election deniers. That was from reporter Eric Geller. He asserts that the problems didn't exist in 2020, right? So the machines weren't vulnerable to hacking or any of that stuff in 2020. But in 2022, he's already predicting there's an issue. And he said there's been some issues in the past with this, right? HBO even did a series on a document series called Kill Chain, the cyber war on America's election. So they released a documentary purporting to show multiple ways a third party could access or change voting data. No word whether or not Joe Biden is going to call HBO a bunch of election deniers. So here's the bottom line. The bottom line is this: when Democrats know that they're going to lose, when Democrats know that they're going to get their butts kicked, all of a sudden they're worried about election denying. They become the election deniers, right? Again, you got the OG Al Gore. He's the OG election denier. Then you got Hillary Clinton. You got Stacey Abrams. You got Maxine Waters. All of these people on the left that at any given time have questioned the results of the election. It's insane. And I don't care that they do it, but I hate that they're doing it intentionally to be divisive when they know they're lying, when they know that there's no evidence of the sort. The problem is Democrats don't have a plan. All Democrats can do is make you mad. That's all they want to do. For those of you that might be Democrat and you're tuning into this podcast, I'd ask you the question: what do Democrats stand for besides hating Republicans and calling Republicans bigots, racists, homophobes, xenophobes? Okay, let's say that we were, which we're not. Let's say that we were. Okay, how does that help you? How does that help you? It doesn't. It doesn't. But this is what the Democrat Party does. Here's a quote from this reporter, Eric Geller, this pre-election denier from Politico. He says, at least 7 states in Washington, D.C. use wireless modems to transmit unofficial election night results to their central offices. These modems, he says, use telecommunications networks that are vulnerable to hackers, and malicious actors could exploit them to tamper with unofficial vote data, corrupt voting machines, or compromise the computers used to tally official results. What's the solution, Eric Geller, you pre-election denier? Paper ballots. Paper ballots and election day. Guys, I'm sorry. It is time to end this election season crap where people can vote 1 month before the election. Makes no sense. Where votes are counted and tallied after the election. Pennsylvania, is already talking about, well, listen, the election results, don't expect election results on election day. No, we can't do that. Now, we used to do that when I was a kid. I wasn't even concerned about elections. And when I first started voting, we used to be able to determine elections on election day, but somehow we can't do it now with more modern technology. So if we can't do it with modern technology that's supposed to make life easier and convenient, then we need to go back old school. We need to do paper ballots, right? People need to have voter ID. or some type of photo ID. We need to match it with a signature, or probably if you're a millennial, you don't know how to write in cursive. But maybe this is another reason why we need to reintroduce cursive writing into our schools. But we need to go to paper ballots. It needs to be as simple as that. We need to be able to track the ballots so that people can't cheat, and anyone that tries to cheat can go to jail for cheating or be arrested for cheating. All right, the last bit of news that I want to share with you: Biden is corrupt. We all know that he's corrupt. There's been another whistleblower that has come forward to give an exclusive interview with the Daily Mail. I've got stacks of stuff right here. I won't go through it all, but I've got the evidence here. I mean, literally, there's emails, there's text. They've got all types of evidence to prove that as vice president of the United States, Joe Biden was using his position to enrich himself and his family, his business partners, so on, et cetera. So, Here it is from Daily Mail exclusive. Joe was centered on the returns in the family coffers. The whistleblower claims that Hunter and then VP Biden were part of a group call to discuss online gambling ventures in Latin America. The president talking like he was chairman of the board, or the vice president was. The whistleblower came forward to claim they have direct knowledge of Joe Biden's involvement and his son Hunter's foreign business deals while serving as VP. Now, this is someone other than Tony Bobulinski. This is someone completely different. The gentleman wanted to remain anonymous. However, he has spoken to the Senate investigative committee on this particular matter. So he's not a fake. He's not a fraud. He's just scared. He's scared that they'll take revenge on him. But, he wants to do the right thing. And I'm guessing that, some of these guys feel more emboldened leading up to the elections. The informant says they were on a 2012 conference call involving Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, his partner, Jeff Cooper, and the late Senator Harry Reid and his son, Key Reid. The call was about Hunter, Key, and Jeff's new venture into online gambling in Latin America, and the source says Joe was active on the call. The whistleblower claims that Joe Biden discussed details of the business and appeared to be involved as a, quote, silent partner, close quote, with, and I'm quoting, with the direct observations I had, he says, it's obvious Joe was participating in the business. He wasn't passive. He was talking about it. The whistleblower goes on to say, if I had to describe him, he was like a member of the board of directors, close quote. The whistleblower has identified themselves again to the Senate investigators, but asked to remain anonymous. One of the business partners, Jeff Cooper, has said the claims are completely fabrication. And I would say that too, if I was just Jeff Cooper, but he's lying. Honestly, again, I'm looking at some of the emails back and forth. They're lying. They're lying. This guy in the White House is corrupt as all get out. And the fact that the Democrat Party would allow him to ascend to the highest office in the land just shows you that you can look at John Fetterman as well. It shows you that the Democrat Party doesn't care about you, doesn't care about your representation. They're willing to put anybody in office, even if they're senile or even if they're incapable of completing a coherent sentence like John Fetterman is. They're willing to put anybody in to just be placeholders for these World Economic Forum type globalist Marxists that are trying to take over the United States. Sounds crazy, but this is what's happening. But you should understand what the Democrat Party is doing. You should be insulted, for one, that they ran Joe Biden, and now we're reaping the consequences of selecting a Joe Biden. And Pennsylvanians, if you're listening, do not vote for John Fetterman. I think the powers that be in Pennsylvania are going to try to, in all honesty, fight like hell to make sure that Fetterman wins. You've got to go out and vote like hell to make sure that he doesn't. We've got to overwhelm the system with legitimate ballots. The Republican Party is going out and fighting these election discrepancies beforehand. They've gotten a clue this year. So things are going to be better than they were, at least in 2020. Your vote matters. Your vote counts. Make sure that you go out and vote today. Guys, listen, I appreciate you tuning in to this edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast. I can't wait to connect with you tomorrow after we get the results in and we get a glimpse of what the new Congress, the upper chamber and lower chamber are going to look like. Do your civic duty. If you haven't voted, go out and vote. If you can take somebody with you, if someone pops into mind and they're unsure about voting, convince them to vote, give them a ride to the polls, and make sure that they vote today. Nothing less than liberty versus tyranny is on the line. All right, tune in. Please subscribe. To the Carl Jackson Show podcast. Really need your subscriptions. Would really appreciate them. They're absolutely free. I'm not going to bug you, but please subscribe. TheCarlJacksonShow.com, SalemPodcastNetwork.com, or wherever you get your podcast. Also, please follow me on social media, The Carl Jackson Show. If you message me, I try to message back. Obviously, I can't get to all messages, but I try to message back. Sometimes on Twitter. Twitter can be a little crazy sometimes. Facebook, if you message me, I try to message. I message back regularly on Facebook, True Social, and Getter. I'm trying to get better messaging there. So if you want to reach out and just say what's up, please feel free to do so. Follow me on social media, The Carl Jackson Show. And until next time, guys, don't grow weary doing good. God bless you. Let's go save the country today.